Does anyone remember that two-stop strategy rule that really worked in Monaco last year? Well, in life and professional careers, we all make mistakes, and sometimes we have to rectify those mistakes. And that is what Formula 1 did earlier this week, getting rid of a pretty dumb rule. The two pit stop rule that was in place at Monaco Grand Prix last year is gone. I mean, they could have put in a similar rule like Qatar where it limits the amount of laps they have on tyres. The rule change, of course, didn't fix the ultimate problem that you cannot overtake at this circuit. And because the drivers weren't doing very long stints, it actually made it harder sometimes because they weren't on very old tyres. It failed to save the race. 2025 was pretty awful. Slightly better than the 2024 race without the rule, but I wouldn't even call that a race. Of course, we saw in the scenario in that race, cars going ridiculously slow, trying to help and slow down the pack to help their teammates, leaving a sour taste in the other drivers behind and everyone else's mouths. It ultimately did not solve the problem of having a 1950s track hosting 2025 F1 cars. Now, possibly a rule to get around the red flag rule of the previous year would be that red flags within the first 5 laps of the race cannot see the drivers make their mandatory tyre pit stop. But they are hoping that the new regulation changes this year will lead to better racing at Monaco with less dirty air, cars are a bit smaller, and wheel-to-wheel racing might be possible now. The new cars, of course, have this boost mode, which should mean a little more overtaking, hopefully, particularly as the previous DRS regulations limited very much overtaking Monaco. Monaco, of course, only has one DRS zone, but this shouldn't be a problem with the boost mode because it can be deployed anywhere. It seems to me pretty much as well the only good Monaco Grand Prix, the ones worth watching, are the ones with wet running. So, given that this is pretty much the richest country in the world with ridiculous amounts of money, use some of that money to install sprinklers on the track, which, to be honest, might sound stupid. If this track does not fix anytime soon, I would honestly not be against it. If this does continue to be just this god-awful race with these new cars, you've just got to try anything to save this race. Come on.